Hello and welcome to another edition of Tutorial Thursdays. My name is Swiss and I'm here to tell you and teach you the ways of Snake's down air, how it works, how to use it, when to use it, and so on and so forth. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So first off, you may be wondering, how does Snake's down air work? Well, I got the answer for you right here. Alright, so as you can see from up here, down air has a frame 3 startup on the first kick. So that means it's one of his best options out of shield. You can also see here in the red section, it is minus 17, 18, and 16 on shield. So it's not very safe on shield. And as far as like the kicks go, you can see that the first kick starts at frame 3, then after 7 frames of that, it starts at 10, 17, and then 25 for kick 2, 3, and 4. Now you can also see that we have also the hitbox of how this move works. And basically you can see here that when it comes to the hitbox, that it's pretty disjointed, right? Because the foot is right here, but it starts right here as far as the hitbox goes. So it's pretty disjointed. And you can see that forward, there's a big hitbox here, but not like behind him. The hitbox is smaller. All right. So it's very important to know that down air is best used when you're facing your opponent and not behind them. Otherwise, the down air will whiff as far as when you're using it backwards, and you only land a couple of the kicks rather than all 4 if you do it behind them rather than in front of them. Now, the other thing to know is that when it comes to the landing lag, right here, you can see that there's 20 frames of landing lag. So it is a laggy move, and it auto cancels on frame 54. So that just basically means that after frame 54, there's not going to be any landing lag. All right, so that's really going to be seen as far as like if you full hop it or something like that. So that's typically how down air works. So now we're going to go over the damage of down air, and it's going to be decided on if you full hop or short hop the aerial, because it does matter, because if you short hop aerials in this game, it does less damage than a full hop. So if you short hop the down air, it's only 20%, but if you full hop it, it's 24%. Now, full hopping the down air is really only going to be useful as far as bigger characters goes, because that's the only time that you're going to be able to land all 4 hits. So if you're fighting a bigger character, I do recommend full hopping. That way you get that extra %, obviously, because they're heavier too than Snake, so you'll be able to get more damage and kill a lot faster than usual. Double jumping the aerial is still going to be 24%. But yeah, so that's going to be 24% for full hop, and then short hop is 20%. Now, Snake's down air also has a float to it, as you can see here. He doesn't just land on the ground. So he floats and hovers a little bit, all right? So what that means is that if you remember from the frame data, it was 20 frames of landing lag, and it has a lot of lag on shield, and so on and so forth. Now, the best thing about this move, what makes it so great, is the float, because you can use it to cross your opponent up or kind of make them guess where you're going to land. And what I mean by that is if you drift all the way forward, you're going to be way over here. So if they're shielding and they don't have a fast enough option to really get over there, then you'll get away scotch-free, basically. You could also mix up the landing. You can hold back and then just drift back. You can also like fast fall at the end, or if they're like on stage like right here and they shield it, you can go off stage and then come back with the back air. So you can kind of mix up options to make it as safe as possible because of that flow, which is really good. Now, what can we use down air for, right? And to be honest, there are so many ways you can use down air, such as off stage, tech chasing, offensive approaches, out of shield, landing. Use it if they're shielding on platforms, fast fall cancels, nade conversions, jab locking, and up throw. So we're going to dive into all that, obviously. and pretty much explain why these options are good for Snake. So the first thing we're going to go over is offstage, and using down air offstage can be pretty useful. I recommend using down air offstage versus tether recoveries, up B recoveries that don't have any hitboxes, or teleport recoveries. So if you're not able to get Nikita, you can try down air and possibly get some gimps or early kills. So next we're going to go over is tech chasing. So if you down throw someone, you know where they're going to land, whether it's like behind or wait, you know, roll forward, you can get down air. Or if they don't tech at all, you can get down air. Or if they do tech and then you wait for the option and then down air, then you can get the extra damage, which is why I recommend down air, because down air is 20%. Most people, they do like F tilt, and that's only 16, or dash attack, and that's only 13. So if you want the most damage as possible, I highly recommend down air. And another thing too that I also like with down air is that if you get the read right and they're at a low percent, you can set them up for another tech chase at low percents with down air. So that's really another good option. So if you land 2 of those, that's 40%. Now we're going to go over using it as an offensive approach. So if you're dash attacking too much and you keep dash attacking over and over again and you want to mix it up, then down air could be a good option for you, especially because of that float. You can actually drift almost freely where you want to go, especially if you're going forward. So again, that just leads back to what I said about floating. But down air could be a good option. You do have to be careful if they do shield though. Then you might have to drift back or drift forward, or, you know, mix up drifting altogether. So using down air out of shield is one of Snake's best options because it starts out at frame 3 and jumping takes 3 frames. So in this case, it comes out as fast as 6 frames, which is extremely fast. So you can get all 4 kicks and then get 24%. Now, I only recommend you do this in front of you because the hitbox, like we went over earlier, is mainly in front of Snake and not behind Snake. So what I mean by that is if you're shielding here and they land behind you, you're not going to get all hits. Now, you're potentially only going to get even 1 hit. So doing it in front is going to be the best option. If they're behind you, then you might want to use F tilt or another option. So with landing, down air is another good option depending on the matchup. And you can also use it as another method of landing as well from a recovery standpoint. So as an example, if I up B here, drift right, and then down air, I'll land precisely around here. So I'm going to put the C4 down, and I'm going to show you what it looks like if you don't use down air, and you land right here. So you land a little bit farther if you use down air because you get that extra drift and momentum from using the down air. And when you're landing, if you notice your opponent is challenging you with an up air or something, you could potentially use down air to actually beat that option because of the little bit of disjoint that Snake has on his down air. Now, it's not going to be every disjointed up air, though, such as Palutena's up air. It's not going to beat that. You're just going to end up getting caught. But it will be certain things like Mario's up air or Fox's up air and stuff like that. So if your opponent is on a platform now and you're under them, now there are plenty of options you can use, but double jump down air is another good option because if you land it, you know, you can get the damage out. And if they're shielding, right, they might drop shield in the middle of it, or it also has a shield poking opportunity. So it can shield poke as well, so you can potentially get the last hit. And if you ever do miss or something like that, again, you have that drift to help you. So you can drift forward, drift away. You can also like be reverse out, you know, to mix up your landing. So all the times I showed you down air and was using down air, I was inputting down air right away as far as when you jump. Now, if you wait a little bit longer, you could fast fall it. Now, this is going to be a good mix-up because if your opponent keeps expecting all 4 hits and then try to punish, then you can mix it up to actually fast fall it and then get like a potential extra like jab, or you can get a grab. So if they're like sitting in shield, then this would be a good option. Or if they don't expect it, it's another good option. Now, it also has the probability to actually trip your opponent, as you guys probably saw in the Shogun method, or Shogun fight versus Sam Sora. But now, as you can see, the chances of that happening are really small. So again, it does have the probability to actually trip your opponent, but again, chances of that happening are extremely small. So you can also use down air as a nade conversion, and if they're at like a kind of a low mid percent, you can get a double jump off of it. So if you double jump down air, then you can potentially get extra damage, such as that. As far as like low percents goes, it's a little bit harder to land. It is doable, but you could potentially just go for nair and then get the dash tech like normal, and then get the extra damage that way. But you can use down air as another method of actually getting some extra damage, or as a nade conversion. So you can also use down air as a jab block, and I recommend using this on the slim characters where you can't actually jab them with jab for the jab lock, but with down air you just want to fast fall it and focus on getting hits 1 and 2 rather than 3 and 4, because 4 is the one that actually has the knockback. So if you do it correctly, it'll look like this, and then you can get an F tilt off of it. And of course, if you do land the jab for the jab block, I would recommend following up with down air. It does the most damage outside of using down tilt, up tilt, or F tilt, or the rest of jab. But you can also get another tech chase, such as that, and then just pretty much go on from there. Now you can also use down air out of up throw, and it's a good way to really get that extra damage, because up throw up tilt is the main go-to, and that does 30%, while the down air, if you double jump it, 37%. Now the combo counter will register it as 6 if you do it perfectly, but the timing is really hard. But I would recommend it if your opponent doesn't expect it. Now you can also DI the up throw whether you don't, forward or backwards. So if you're backward, if they DI backwards, they're going to be behind Snake. At that point, I won't recommend the down air, because of the fact that down air does not have a good hitbox from behind, only forward. So again, if they're right above you or they DI in front of you, then use the down air for the extra damage. And that's going to be everything about down air that you guys should know. I really hope that you guys play with this move. It is a really great move in my opinion, and a lot of the pros use it, especially Shogun and Dio. They're really good at using down air, so definitely check them out if you want to see some other ways to use down air. But thank you everyone that came by and watched the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I have Twitch and Twitter and other social media platforms down below. Again, my name is Swiss. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next video. Bye now.
Never duplicate you, never multiply two. Everyone copy and paste, mask all up in on their face. Disney fantasy MPH, they are cool with their complacent. You feel it in you, then you brush it off you. Insignificant, but you got something we want, and your whole life is a taunt, cause you will not just comply. Waking up for your day.